Hi everyone, it's Mary Kay here, and I am the Grammy from Grammy Square. We are finishing up our Brooklyn baby blanket today with the border, and you can see from the one that we looked at previously that it has overlay stitches and puff stitches in the corner. So let's get started. This is the final part of the Brooklyn baby blanket. There are 3 other parts that came before this, and I'll have links to them in the description for this video. I have blocked this pattern since I finished the part 3, and please do block your work because it will make it look a lot better. It evens out a lot of those imperfections that kind of bug you as you create your work. This border is appropriate for other kinds of blankets or afghans. I think it's really versatile. So let's get started. I am not going to start in the corner. The reason for that is that I want to do an invisible join on all of these rows that I think will make it look flawless. And if we put our beginning stitches in the corner, then we'll get weird chains and it doesn't look as good as I think it should. So from the back to the front to the back. And instead of putting a knot here, I'm just going to pull through a loop like that. Do that one more time. We'll go just in any stitch really on the side. Go from the back to the front to the back, just like we did with our back post half double crochets. Pull through a loop and then yarn over and pull through. And we'll be joining to that stitch when we finish our round. Then we'll do some back post double crochets to this stitch right here. This is where we're going to be putting our front post double crochets. So we'll stop at that point. So back post half double crochet that we've done quite a few times in this pattern. And I'll just go over to that. Okay. If we were going to be continuing this pattern to the corner, would put in another back post half double crochet in this stitch right here. But this is the one just before the corner. So we're going to put a front post double crochet there. So yarn over and then go from the front to the back to the front. Pull through a loop and then finish the double crochet. And this is going to create one that's on the front side. The back posts are on the back. This one's on the front. And I'm going to chain 1. I'll put 1 puff stitch in this corner on this first round. So yarn over, go into that corner space, pull up a loop, pull it up a little bit. We want these to be kind of tall loops. Yarn over, go through the same space, pull up a loop, yarn over, do the same thing. That's 3 times. And one more time, yarn over, pull through a loop. And then we're going to yarn over and pull through all of the loops except for the first one. So I'm going to pull through all of these and then yarn over, pull through that last one, and that creates a puff stitch right there. Then I'll chain 1 and we'll turn our work. So we'll be working down the other side. This first stitch after the puff stitch will be a front post double crochet, just like what we put on the beginning of the corner. We'll put the same thing on the other side of the corner. So just looking at it, straighten this out. Here we go. We have our corner space where we've got a puff stitch. Then we've got a front post double crochet at the beginning of the corner and at the end of the corner. At this point, it's going to be pretty easy. You're so used to these back post half double crochets. Just go all the way around to the next corner putting in back post half double crochets all the way around. When you get to the next corner, do the same thing. We'll put a front post double crochet in the stitch just before the corner, then a puff stitch, then front post double crochet on the stitch on the other side of the corner, and then we'll go all the way around with back post half double crochets, and I'll meet you at the end and I'll show you how to join. The only thing left to do on this round is to join. I've got all the stitches done, and if you're not sure if you got them all done or not, just turn your work like this and you should see a row of colored stitches there. That means that they're all completed. All right, and then this is our first one that we did right back here. We're not going to join to that first stitch, this one. It's kind of a half stitch anyway. We're going to skip that stitch and make our invisible join into the stitch right after that. And if we turn and look at it this way, we do need a stitch right here to join those two together. And this stitch will be replaced by the stitch that we create in our invisible join. So I cut my yarn, pull the tail out, and thread the yarn onto my yarn needle. And then again, we're going to not go into the stitch that you think you should go into, which would be this one probably. We're going to go into the one right after that, because this process will create a stitch on top that will replace this one. So we will go through both loops of that second stitch, and that will be right there. And that's from front to back, and kind of pull it a little bit tight. And then the second half of this will be to go in through the back loop only of the stitch that we just did. And this is the stitch that we just did right here. You can pull it apart a little bit and see. This is the stitch that we just completed. Now we're going to go into from front to back again into the back loop only. And then just kind of pull it tight a little bit. And if you look on the top, it looks like it looks perfectly straight and just like all the other rows. That's why it's called an invisible join, and that's why I would definitely recommend you do that. All right, now I've got these two pieces of yarn, and what I usually do now is just make a knot here and weave in the ends, but I won't do that on the video to save time. Let's go to row 2. I usually go to a different corner and start at that point. So this will be a review again of what we did in the last one, plus we're going to add a puff stitch. So I'm going to go close to the corner, but you can start anywhere along this row that you want. Put my yarn hook, or put my crochet hook from the back to the front to the back. So again, that's from the back to the front to the back on any stitch. We won't knot it. Instead, we'll just pull through that loop with the new yarn color, and then yarn over and pull through that loop. And that will get us up to the point where we need to be to start our first back post double crochet. So we're going to go into the next stitch, back post half double crochet, and one more, and then we're at the corner. And looking at what we did on the previous round, this is where we put our front post double crochet, and we're going to put a front post double crochet in that stitch as well. So yarn over, go from the front to the back to the front, pick up a loop, pull through, yarn over, pull through once, yarn over, pull through twice. And this creates a really pretty pattern with these series of front post double crochets. And we'll see that on the next couple of rows as well. Chain 1, and then we're going to put 2 puff stitches in the corner, and we're going to put them both in the same spot, and that will be right here in the top, right there on the top of that puff stitch from the previous row. So yarn over, put your hook right through there, yarn over, and then pull up a tall loop, yarn over, pull up a loop, that's 2, and then the same thing, 3 and 4, then yarn over, pull through all the loops except the last one, yarn over, pull through the last one, that finishes it up. We'll chain 2 and put another puff stitch in the same space in that corner on top of the first puff stitch. And at the end of that one, just chain 1, and then we're ready to do our front post double crochet. So we'll do that, and then continue on around, all the way around this round. Again, same thing. On all the corners, we'll do a front post double crochet, chain 1, a puff stitch, chain 2, puff stitch, chain 1, and then another half post double crochet, and then continue with the back post half double crochets all the way to the end, and I'll pick you up at that point. At the end of this round, I'll just pull that, cut the yarn, and then pull the tail out. Complete another invisible join. I'll just review that one more time for you. The end of the yarn we just cut. This was our first stitch on this row, and we're gonna skip that, go to the next one, go through the top 2 loops, front to back, and then we'll go through the back loop only of the last double or half double crochet that we did here. And then pull it tight a little bit, and you can see it looks great. For the last row, sorry, the third row, we're going to go back to our main color again, and we'll do the same thing, and we'll put 3 puff stitches in the corners. So just to review how to do this again, we're doing your hook from back to front to back, and then just pick up that yarn, pull through, yarn over, pull through, and then we will do the back post half double crochet to the corner, and in that last stitch before the corner, that's where we've been putting our front post double crochets. We'll do another one, chain 1, we're going to put 3 puff stitches in the corner, got 3 puff stitches in the corner separated by single crochets, and then another single front post double crochet in the same stitch that we did in previous rounds, and that is how that corner will look. Perfect. So I'll just finish that off in a minute. Our last row will be to go back to our second color, the darker color, and we'll put 1 more round on. The reason for that last round is because these overlay stitches tend to curl in, and so you can see it's not straight at all. This last row will help to resolve that, and also don't forget to block when you're finished. This will be a double crochet row, so we won't be doing any back post or front. Well, we'll do that one front post here, but we won't be doing any back post. We'll just do regular double crochets. So I will just attach my yarn here. Again, I'm not going to make a knot. I'm just going to pull through one loop, and then I'm going to double crochet in the same spot, and then double crochet across to the corner, and that front post double crochet, we're going to do that again, and then we'll put 4 puff stitches in the corner, and that will be 2 in each of these chain 1 spaces between the previous puff stitches. So between these 2 puff stitches and put 2 more puff stitches right there, and then put 2 puff stitches right here, put our front post double crochet right here, and then continue all the way around with double crochets. And you can see already from this first part that I did that that's making that lay down a little bit better, so it will be more flat. And there we are, our very last stitch. Make an invisible join. And thank you for coming on this journey with me. Hope you're happy with how your project turned out. If you like this series of videos, please give me a thumbs up and subscribe and leave a comment. I really appreciate it. Thanks for watching.